Hi, I'm Conrad Miller with Miller Law Firm, and I wanted to take a second today to talk with you a little bit about driving under the influence, DWI, or drunk driving. Now, before we get started, before I get any emails or calls from mad mothers or mad fathers or whoever, I just want to say that we are not advocating driving under the influence. Drinking and driving, I think everybody agrees that's a bad idea. There's a lot of things you can do. Designated drivers, those are things that need to be done. There are not good things. Bad things happen when you drive under the influence of alcohol. So we're not advocating that. But every person in the United States has a right to a defense. Every person has a right to be convicted by good and credible evidence, and everybody to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Have that evidence presented and have their guilt proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's our goal, is to make sure that if they're guilty, if they're convicted, if they're guilty, that they're convicted on good evidence, not some made up BAC report or something. So that's what we're talking about here. The first thing I'd like to talk about is, what actually happens during the stop. Usually when you get stopped, it's going to be late at night, after midnight, after the bar's closed, obviously, and you're going to get pulled over. And usually you're not going to be pulled over because you're driving erratically. It's probably because your tail light's out, or you failed to make, signal a turn. You're speeding. Something like that, any excuse that the officer can have to stop you to see if you are driving under the influence. And then they're going to start assessing you, and that's important. As soon as they turn on those lights, they start assessing you to see if you are driving under the influence. How do you pull over? You run over the curb, do you signal, do you pull at a safe spot, do you park right? All those things are starting to look at and assess whether you're under the influence of alcohol. Same when they come up to the car, they're going to ask you for your license, registration, insurance. How do you present that to them? You give it to them, they're watching your fingers. Good motor skills, is he fumbling around? Can he give it to me? How's his speech? Those types of things. All that is being assessed at that point. Then they're going to take you out of the car. They're going to ask you to get out of the car. Do you fall out? Do you get out, walk to the rear? Then they're going to administer the field sobriety test. And that's touch the nose, follow your fingers. You do the walk, and they're going to assess you on those. Do you pass or you fail? The important thing about that is that they are all standardized tests. They're all supposed to be performed in a particular manner all across the country. This is the way that they're supposed to be performed. So we're going to look at that. If they find that you have some evidence, or what they call cues of impairment, then they're going to take you and have you do a test, a blood alcohol content test, which is blowing into a tube. If you blow over a .08 on that, you're going to jail, and you're going to be charged with a DUI. Now, what do you do once you get out of jail? Well, the first thing you better do is call an attorney, or find a good attorney to talk to about this, because there's some strict time frames that go into play here. And the first one is you're going to have, if you blew over a .08, you're going to have your license suspended, and not by the courts, but by the Department of Revenue. They're going to suspend your license, and you have a chance to have a hearing on that, but you have to request a hearing within 10 days after your arrest. If you don't, you lose your opportunity to do that. Now, you're probably going to be found, that the test was good, etc., more than likely, but there are some defenses, and it's important for two reasons. You might get it kicked out, you might get your suspension kicked out for some technicality, which you can do that. But the other reason is that it gives us an opportunity to look at the evidence that the police officer has. A police officer has to be there to testify about the stop, and so it gives us a chance to ask some questions. So that's always a good thing. The more information we have, the better. Then we're going to get the information. We're going to get the police report. We're going to look at that. Then we're going to get your input. We're going to find out what your side of the story is. What happened? Were you falling? You know, this, that. I've got a huge, questions that I ask you that may affect how you appear, and so I'm going to give you that. We're going to gather all that information, and finally we're going to get the video. If they have a video of the stop, and we're going to see what really happened. Because usually it's somewhere in between, while I was driving fine and I didn't stumble, and the officers, while he was stumbling all over the place, he fell down 3 times, I had to grab him and hold him up. It's usually somewhere in there, but we're going to find the truth of that, of actually what took place. Now why is that important? Well, what we're looking for are disconnects between your actions at the field sobriety test and when you started pulling over, and when they started looking to assess whether you were intoxicated, and the blood alcohol content test. Okay? So, if everything passed on your field sobriety test and you blew a .08 an hour and a half later, there's something wrong. There's a disconnect there. The question is not whether you blew a .08 at the time you took the toxicology test. The question is, did you have a .08 when you were driving? And were you driving impaired? That's the question. And so if you blew a .08 an hour and a half after, then we got a problem. Most people think that oh good, I have an hour and a half to sober up. Well, actually you don't. Actually, your alcohol in your stomach absorbs during that period, and your blood alcohol actually goes up during that time period. So these the tests are there to make you fail and to get the highest blood alcohol content they can. So those are the things we're going to look at. We're going to assess that. Then we're going to talk to you about your case and let you make a decision on how you want to proceed. If it's your first case, low BAC, we might talk about doing a diversion. And there are dozens of jurisdictions in Kansas and Missouri. They're all a little bit different as far as their diversion, so I'm not going to get into that. But we'll talk about what is required for diversion in the jurisdiction where you got your ticket, where you got your DUI. And then we're going to see if that's good, if that may be the best course for you to proceed. And remember that we don't make the decision. You make the decision. And it's what you think is best. We're going to do what's in your best interest. We can only advise, but it's at the end of the day, it's your decision. So the last thing I want to say, just real quickly, is that if you got a DUI, you're not an evil person. You're not a bad person. You don't need to be ashamed. You don't need to, you just sleep at night. You made a mistake. Okay? We all make mistakes. This one could cost you dearly, but it's our duty, our goal, to try and minimize or to limit the effect that mistake is going to have on your life. And hopefully, it's going to be a mistake that you're going to get over and move on with your life with. So that's our goal. If you'd like to talk to me about it, if you'd like to talk to me about this issue, I'd be happy to talk with you. My number is 913-912-7070. That's 913-912-7070. My email address is Conrad, C-O-N-R-A-D, at M as in Miller, L as in law, F as in firm, KS.com, Miller Law Firm of Kansas.com. You can also Google Miller Law Firm of Kansas, and I will pop up. So please get in contact with us, and hopefully we can give you a hand. Thanks.